When Ethan stepped into our bedroom that night, something in him was off. His face looked pale, almost hollow, as though he'd seen something he couldn't unsee. For a long moment, he didn't speak. He just stood there, holding my old phone, one I hadn't touched in years, a dusty relic I'd shoved into a drawer and forgotten. I smiled faintly, thinking maybe he discovered old pictures of us or some sentimental memory. But then he spoke quietly, as if even his own voice frightened him. "Who are they?" I frowned. "Who?" He didn't answer. Instead, he turned the screen toward me, and in that instant my heart sank. The video was old, so old I barely recognized myself. My hair was different, my voice higher, my laughter careless. And yes, there were men in the frame. 3 of them, drunk, foolish, half-dressed. A night I had buried deep in shame, long before Ethan ever came into my life. Air left my lungs. It felt like my life was unraveling in slow motion. "Ethan, that's not—" He raised a hand, shaking his head. "Don't," he said softly. "Don't insult me with an explanation." I stepped closer, desperate. "Please, it's from before you, years before you. I was foolish, young, lost." He laughed, but it was hollow, bitter, unfamiliar. "Before you? That's supposed to make it better? You kept this on your phone." "Why?" I didn't even know it was there. I whispered, tears welling. "I thought I deleted everything from that time." He set the phone on the dresser, like it was poison. "I can't believe I married you," he murmured. Those words struck deeper than any scream could, because in that moment, I realized I lost something irretrievable. His trust. He didn't yell. He didn't hurl insults. He simply walked past me, out the door, leaving me standing in the dark, surrounded by echoes of life that suddenly felt hollow. I sank onto the bed, trembling, struggling to breathe. My mind spun, a storm of memories colliding with regrets. I had worked so hard to bury that reckless girl I once was, to become the woman I had built myself to be. But in one night, she returned unbidden and took everything. That version of me had died years ago. And now, because of that video, she had destroyed my marriage too. The next morning, Ethan didn't return. His side of the bed remained untouched, the sheets still crisp. I sat in the kitchen with a cup of long cold coffee, replaying every possible way to explain myself, to fix this. But how could I make someone understand that your past doesn't define who you are now, especially when your past looks like that on a screen? By noon, he came back. His eyes were red, the faint smell of whiskey clinging to him. He didn't look at me, just pour a glass of water and linger at the counter. I wanted to run to him, hold him, make him see. But when I stepped forward, he said without looking up, "I don't know who you are anymore." My throat tightened. "Ethan, please." I was 21, reckless. I didn't even know what love was back then. He finally met my eyes. The pain in them was unbearable. How could I erase that? Pretend it didn't exist? Tears burned down my face. It wasn't love, Ethan. It was a mistake. A terrible, humiliating mistake. I didn't even remember it until you found it. He inhaled slowly, his voice shaking. "I thought we had something pure. You made me believe you were untouched by that chaos. I feel like a fool." His words stung, not cruelly, but from a place of shattered illusion. Ethan had always seen me as calm, disciplined, gentle, the anchor to his storms. Now that image was gone. To him, I wasn't the woman who had stood by his side through everything. I was the girl in that video, reckless, wild, unworthy. Finally, he said, "You should have told me." I closed my eyes, whispering, I was ashamed. I wanted to be better, to start over. "You gave me that chance." He stared long and quiet, then murmured, "Maybe you were only pretending to be better." That cut deeper than anything else. In the days that followed, he barely spoke. He moved into the guest room. Meals were silent. The distance between us became heavier than any argument had ever been. For the first time since I met him, I felt unseen, like a ghost haunting my own marriage. 3 days later, I woke to the sound of drawers closing. Ethan was packing. his movements calm, methodical, like he had already reconciled with a decision I wasn't aware of. I sat up, voice soft. Please don't do this. He didn't stop. You lied by omission, Lily. You built a marriage on half-truths. I can't pretend I don't see it now. My heart raced. It's my past, Ethan. It has nothing to do with us. Don't let a decade-old mistake destroy what we built. He paused, hands gripping the dresser. It's not just a video, he said quietly. It's realizing you could hide something so enormous for so long. Every time I look at you, I wonder what else you've buried. His words cut deeper than any anger ever could. I wanted to scream that I had changed, that I wasn't that person anymore. But he had already shut me out. The wall was up. I was outside. When he left that morning, suitcase in hand, he didn't slam doors, didn't shout, didn't accuse. His silence, the quiet, controlled kind, was worse than any explosion. It was the silence of someone who no longer believed. That evening, I sat alone on the couch, scrolling through old photos. Us at the beach, his arm around me at his sister's wedding, the way he used to look at me when he called me home. Every memory now tainted by a past I could never erase. I could have begged harder, reached out more, but instead, a strange calm settled over me. For the first time, I understood that some truths once revealed cannot be undone. Love built on illusions eventually collapses under honesty. A week later, he returned, not to reconcile, but to gather the rest of his things. He looked weary, composed. Before leaving, he said, I loved you more than anyone I've ever known, but I can't love you and still hate what I saw. Tears slid down silently. I understand. I whispered, because I did. Love, even the deepest love, cannot survive when respect dies. When the door closed behind him for the last time, I didn't chase him. I didn't break. I just sat there, the ghost of who I used to be, realizing that redemption isn't always about forgiveness. It's about learning to live with a version of yourself someone couldn't accept.